All right, everybody. Our next guest is a true road dog who performs at least 45 weekends annually all across America, Canada, and even France. He's called the absurd voice of a surreal generation by the Denver Post and hailed as a new face at the 2019 Just for Laughs Montreal Comedy Festival. And his critically acclaimed debut novel, Running the Light, is a dark, hilarious view of a comedian on the road and has been getting rave reviews. Here he is, folks, the one and only Sam Tallent. Sam, how's everything going, my friend?
Good, Don, man. Thank you. That was such a kind and generous introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you doing this, doing the interview. I know you said you just had a problem the other day. Your dad, is he okay?
Well, yeah, like a week ago we were supposed to do it, and then I had to drive out to LA
Right.
to do fucking Marin's podcast. Sorry, can I swear?
Yeah, you could swear.
Okay.
And I'll take a backseat to Marin, WTF, any day. WTF.
It's very big of you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But then even more pressing, yeah, my father, he tumbled off a ladder, and I had to go down there and, make sure he wasn't broken and crippled forever. And luckily he's sturdy, he's strong, and he persevered. So here we are.
Thank God. Yeah, was he hanging Christmas lights or something?
Yeah, he was helping my mom organize her house for Christmas, and she was demanding where he put stuff up, and I think he did it on purpose, man. I think it was better than
listening to my mom.
Yeah. He took the dive.
So that's cool. So if it's her house, and I'm assuming they're not together, and he still goes and does handyman stuff for her, that's pretty cool.
No, they're together. My mom had a stroke, so she's incapable.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah, she's fucking useless, man. So, so we all got to carry her water for her,
Yeah, wow. Well, thank God your dad's okay and your mom's doing okay, and the house, I believe, is probably all decorated now the way she likes it. So
that's right.
The book. Running the Light here. I got the book here. I'll show it.
Hell yeah, man.
You signed it. I don't know if
and
where's the signature here? I know what this. There we go. Well,
signed every damn book I've sold, man. The whole signed book thing was a dumb move. I probably would have saved like 2 actual days of my life if I didn't agree to sign them all. But people are buying them, and I'm grateful.
Hey man, people are gonna put these away because when you really blow up and this book becomes a collectible, we all have signed copies.
Well, thank you, dude. But you know what's weird about that is I was thinking about that is, you remember like the Death of Superman, that comic book?
Oh yeah.
And how everyone went out to buy Death of Superman because it was going to put their kids through college.
Yeah.
Man of Steel has proven to be as vulnerable as the mere mortals who've looked up to him for more than half a century.
And then everyone had 4 copies of Death of Superman. I'm worried that the unsigned versions are going to be the ones that are worth more money.
Right.
Because I sold so many that are signed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because now the Death of Superman comic book's worth like what? $2, $5?
Who knows, dude? Yeah. Lucky if you get that.
Same thing happened with so many things I collected as a kid.
Oh, me too, brother. I was heartbroken a lot by the whole supply and demand situation.
Yeah, man. But dude, I've been reading the book. I'm not done with it yet. I'm halfway through. I'm up to Thursday night. I just got through Thursday.
Right on.
Billy Ray's been going through some stuff. What a week he's having so far.
Tough one.
I do love where this is going, and already, and I think I've read 80 pages or so, and already I've laughed out loud. I actually got choked up at a part when he was remembering the good times with his wife and his ex-wife, and then there's a couple other steamy parts in here. There's everything you can want. I'm only 80 pages in, and this thing is really awesome.
Well, thank you, Don.
Yeah, man. And when did you come up with this concept that you were going to write this book about Billy Ray Schaefer?
Oh man, I mean, it wasn't really planned out, honestly. Like my wife did her first 2 years of med school in Las Vegas, and I went from being in Denver where I was just surrounded by friends and family all the time, and when I wasn't, I was on the road, to being in Vegas and just kind of being lonely. And she was gone at school or studying constantly, so I always wrote short stories, and then I guess a short story just got longer than a short story, and then part of that, I wrote like 150,000 words of one thing, and then part of that turned into the first chapter of this book. And then I just kind of like, this whole Billy Ray Schaefer guy, I was like, well, shit, I want to find out what he's up to, So I just kind of followed him out to whatever logical decisions I think he would make, and whatever like disgusting debauchery he would be involved in. And it was kind of easy to write just because, we've met so many guys like this, dude. And it's kind of fun to figure out what happens between the legendary stories. And that's what that book's all about, the other 23 hours of the day where you're not on stage.
Yeah, man, that's what I love about it. And when you're writing, like, because I write short stories too.
Nice,
and
man.
A lot of times when I write, I'm literally kind of, when I'm typing away, I don't know where I'm going yet.
Yeah.
It just takes me there.
Hell
and
yeah.
then like even the characters I meet and things like that. Is that similar to how you construct it? Like, do you have the ending already, or is it you don't know yet?
No, man. Yeah, I love how you put that, the characters you meet, because I had nothing preconceived about this guy. And then I kind of figured out that, like, okay, he would probably work these kinds of rooms, and these would be the kinds of people who would open those rooms. And this is the relationship this guy would probably have with the women in his life. And, oh, yeah, he probably is a shitty dad. And it just all kind of grew out of that, like I can't write with an outline or anything like that, because then I feel like I put too many restraints on my creativity, Yeah. So yeah, I'm right there with you, dude. I'm learning just as much as the reader is, kind of.
Yeah, and that's cool. And I do think that's a good way to write. I think some people need to be more, outlines and all that. And then there's other people that free form works better because it leaves room, like you said, you're not constrained, it leaves room for improv. Like, now, is there a picture in your head of what Billy Ray looks like?
Yeah, man. I mean, he actually kind of looks like you would, but not as, if you were like disgusting and broken, because you have like bright eyes and a winning smile, but kind of has the same hair as you. And I imagine he has like a nice beard. I always imagined him with mutton chops, man. That's what
I could see him with the mutton chops. Yeah,
big mutton chops. And if I had to pick someone to play him in the movie, it'd be John C. Reilly with mutton chops.
I could picture that now. It's going to be in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, but he has like, he's got a broad face like yours, a very American face.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you had like, if your nose was fucking red from doing blow 13 hours a day,
So is it based off of anyone? Like, did you know it? I know this is probably a combination of characters you've met throughout your life, but is there anyone like, because in the beginning how I found out about the book and then you was with Doug Stanhope. Yeah. And he loves this book, and I see why now. I've been reading it. It's amazing. So at first I was imagining him.
It's fucking horrifying. Have an AA guy tell you to your face he's supposed to be the know-it-all, and he tells you that your career is dependent on your disease. Kind of a scary proposition.
But then as you start to describe little nuances about him, I'm like, no, it's not Stanhope. But no. John C. Reilly, I see, yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as like looking like John C. Reilly, I don't think John C. Reilly's
the guy,
as depraved, hopefully, as this guy. I'd be heartbroken to find out he was. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I'm sure you've met at least 5 Billy Ray Schaefers in your comedy career.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, is like every comedian knows this guy or knows multiple of this guy, and they all have different names. And they all have different legendary stories, but. There was like a guy named Troy Baxley when I was coming up, and a guy named Rick Kearns in Denver, who you just heard these insane stories about, and you were like, when you're starting out, you're like, Jesus Christ, I cannot wait to be on the road and living like that.
Right.
And then you get a little older in comedy, and you're like, good God, how long were they doing stand-up when they were still pulling that shit? They didn't know better, they didn't learn anything. So there's just it's a handful of people, and then you go on the road and you hear stories about people, and we all pass around these kind of anecdotes and ghost stories about comics we've heard, and I was able to just pick and choose some of the best ones of those and kind of adapt them to fit in this guy's life.
Dude, like I said,
like the John Fox jerking off in the mayonnaise jar story that we've all heard.
Right.
Like, yeah. There's just a million different stories about joke thieves and what would go down in the condo and whatnot, and Yeah, you know, you just kind of put them all in a blender and mix them up and personalize them to this guy.
I think it's cool, and I do love some of the antics on the road. And like you said, it's about all the hours that throughout the day that are not on stage, and what this guy goes through and what he gets himself into. And I don't want to give away too much, so because I want everyone to get this book and read it, get the autograph book, so so Sam has to sign even more copies. But some of it, man, like, all right, we can mention the bird shit duck shit bingo, right?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah.
So there's this game. I'll let you describe it. So there's a game, duck shit bingo. Tell us about duck shit bingo. And this is real, huh? Like, have you ever seen that?
Yeah, man, for sure. I've all the shows that happened in this book, like I have done these shows. Yeah, so I was in Greeley, Colorado, which is a slaughterhouse town in northern Colorado. And we get there, me and the feature, and everyone's losing their minds because there's a bingo, there's like a big tarp laid out with numbers spray painted on it in a bingo grid. And then there's this big, just disgusting carny. And he's got a duck and he's holding the duck over his head. And everyone's looking at it like it's a deity or like a, you know, a fallen star. And he just has this duck and he lets it loose and everyone loses their mind. And we're like, what the fuck is this? And then whenever the duck shits, that person wins part of the money that's been collected to buy a card, you know? And people, and I've heard they do it in Southern Ohio. I've heard I guess it's like a pretty big, like, I don't know, like formerly German territories, like North Dakota, Northern Colorado, Southern Ohio. But yeah, duck shit bingo, man. It's real and it's disgusting and it's a blood sport. People fucking love it.
So this is crazy. And I loved in the book too, the disdain that Billy Ray had for that carny guy. That he hated.
Well, that was real, man, because I remember being there knowing what I got paid and then watching him count his money and being like, so do you give that to like a charity or something? And he's like, no, it's the greatest scam on earth. This is mine. And I was like, oh, good. I'm glad. I'm happy for you, sir.
Yeah.
I just went up there and bombed for an hour and I got a fifth of what you're walking out of here for having a shitty duck.
That's ridiculous. And did you have to follow the duck or you went on before it? You had to follow
So
that,
luckily
right?
the feature was the buffer.
Oh, okay. Thank
So
God.
was the opening. That was the opening event. Was you know, the duck.
And I thought following a juggler was hard. I had to follow a juggler once, and I bombed
I would
hard.
love to follow a juggler compared to the duck. Man.
Yeah, man, that's ridiculous, man.
And then trying to sell merch afterward when he's selling photos with the duck. He's selling Polaroids of people with the duck, and the line for him was 10 times the amount that it was for me. It was brutal.
Jesus, that's ridiculous for a damn shitting duck.
Yeah,
Who would have figured that? Yeah, I never even thought of that. No, that would never would have come to my mind to play bingo with duck shit like that. That's crazy.
Well, you're not an entrepreneur, dude. That's
I
the
know. I
issue.
gotta start thinking outside the box, man. What's cool too is as I'm reading it, I'm like, you know, you couldn't have written this without the experience of the road. There's so many little kind of nuances and little, you know, things about the life on the road that you kind of nail it, that I'm like, man, you know, only a guy who's been through it could touch on these so perfectly.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. What's it like? You know, how long do you go on the road? I know you work like, you know, what, 45 weekends out of the year.
Yeah.
So
On
what's road
average.
life? Yeah. What's it like, you know, for you?
Well, I'm a happily married man now, dude. But so I'm trying to take it easy. I'll still drink too many beers and like the late night food, but I'm not a coke guy. I quit weed. I'm, you know, every day is a miracle I don't smoke a cigarette, but I'm trying to do the best on those. So yeah, it's just a lot of, it's going to botanical gardens, it's going to rivers, it's going to big outdoor markets, it's going to farmers markets, it's going to used bookstores. It's really just trying to walk around, man, with like a feeling of gratitude that you get to be in Louisville, Kentucky, or you get to be in Portland, Maine, and, you know, just walking around and looking at stuff. And there's a term for it in, I think it's French. It's called a flaneur, which is just a person who walks around and looks at stuff with kind of like a feeling of, oh wow, I've never seen the light hit a tree at that angle before.
Right.
And you know, as pretentious and like forced artiness that it sounds like I really do just try and take in Cheyenne, Wyoming like it might be Paris, you know? Like I really want to I want to have the best cup of coffee in town, and I want to eat the best meal in town, and it's just trying to fill it without feeling lonely, man. And luckily when you're on the road, you get to hang out with the funniest people in that town.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're with comics. So like it's a lot of walking around playing grab ass, pantsing each other, but also just like, you know, being grateful, dude. Always trying to be grateful.
That's awesome, man. Because you know, a lot of people travel, like, you know, they'll tell you that every city's the same and all of this, and I bounce around. You know, my day job, I work in sports, so I got to go to different cities all over as well.
What do you do?
I do sports production for the jumbotrons.
Oh,
like
sick, man.
Yeah. So it's fun. But
are you a Jets fan or a Giants fan?
I grew up a Giants fan, and I actually do some video work for the Jets this season, which it's been rough, dude. Yeah. Oh my God, this last game
against the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't catch a break, man.
I was stoked though because I had the Raiders teased to -2.5. In that last play, I was like, "Oh, okay,
yeah."
Parlay is alive."
Now it's to the point where I don't want them to win, so I was like, yeah. I was in a bar when it happened, so everyone was Jets fans, so I didn't want to cheer, like I didn't want to laugh too loud. I was like, "Oh my God!"
It was laugh out loud though.
Yeah, it was like these guys cannot catch a break. But like you said, going to these different cities, you know, a lot of people take them for granted, and they don't really enjoy it or realize, hey man, how fortunate, you know, like not everybody can see the world like this. Not everyone can go and get paid to go to these places, you know.
And places are only boring if you're bored, you know. Like you can definitely get into the marrow of anywhere and find out why it's special and why people have lived there and decided to raise their families there. And yeah, I think that America and you know, luckily the other places I've been able to go for stand-up or man, I don't know. I'm getting all choked up because I haven't been on the road in a while, but
yeah,
you know, I drove out to LA last week and was there for like 36 hours before I got back in the car and drove the exact same route home because of COVID. You don't want to be dicking around and LA's dead. And
yeah, man, LA's
I was just thinking about all the times I had on the road, man, and I just hope it comes back, dude. I hope we get to be able to travel like that again.
Same here, man. Yeah, because that's what I also want to ask you too, because I know some cities are different than others, and there is still comedy going on. At least the last I knew, in especially in the Midwest, I think there's some places opening. But I didn't know if you were still traveling or just keeping cool. Is Denver shut down too?
Denver's shut down, man. Yeah, and I'm trying to think. The last show I did, I think, was the weekend before Halloween. There was outdoor shows in Denver,
right?
But I haven't done any indoor shows since March 17th. You know,
yeah, man, it's freaking nuts, dude. Let's hope this vaccine is for real and can get us back, man, because like everything's suffering.
So my wife's a doctor, and she says that she thinks it's legit, and that everything that they've been told, you know, she's gonna get it as soon as possible, and as well as all the frontline workers are. And you know, I love her dearly, and I believe her, but also there's that like conspiracy theorist in me who's like, well, who benefits from this, you know?
Yeah, right.
I'm hoping that society can get together and do what's best for the majority of human beings on this one occasion, you know. So
tell everybody where they can get the book and can find out more information on you, and like
you can get it at samtallent.com, TALLENT. Signed copies are on there. Instagram at Sam Tallent, and then I don't really like Twitter, but I'm Talent Sam on Twitter. But yeah, just get at me on the website, man. I appreciate you guys, and thank you, Don, for having me.
Yeah, thanks again. I appreciate I appreciate you coming on the show. This is big for me.
Of course, man.
You rock. The book Running the Light. Everybody check it out right now. Get it. It's great. I'm telling you.